Welcome everyone. Today, I want to share an unforgettable story with you. It is a story filled with hope, kindness, courage, and inspiration. At the same time, it will help you improve your English listening skills in a fun and meaningful way. Have you ever wondered how one woman captured the hearts of millions across the world? How someone born into privilege became one of the most loved people in modern history? Today, we are talking about Princess Diana. Many people remember her as the People's Princess, but her journey was much more than royal titles and glamorous events. Her life was full of happiness, heartbreak, challenges, and incredible acts of compassion. She showed the world that true beauty is not measured by appearance, but by the kindness we show to others. By the end of this story, you'll understand why Princess Diana continues to inspire people even decades after her passing. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the remarkable journey of one of history's most unforgettable women. Princess Diana was born on July 1st, 1961, in Norfolk, England. Her full name was Diana Frances Spencer. She was born into a respected aristocratic family with close connections to the British royal family. From the very beginning, Diana's life seemed destined to be different. Although she grew up surrounded by beautiful homes and a privileged lifestyle, her childhood was not as perfect as many people imagine. Diana was the fourth of 5 children in the Spencer family. She was known as a quiet, gentle, and caring little girl who always treated people with warmth and respect. Even as a child, she had a special way of making others feel comfortable around her. Her bright blue eyes, friendly smile, and kind personality made her unforgettable. People often noticed that she had a natural charm that couldn't be taught. She wasn't simply beautiful on the outside. She had a heart filled with compassion. Sadly, when Diana was only 7 years old, her parents' marriage ended in divorce. It was a painful experience that deeply affected her childhood. Like many children facing family problems, Diana experienced loneliness and emotional struggles. However, instead of allowing these difficult moments to define her, she slowly developed inner strength. Those early experiences taught her how to understand the feelings of others. They also helped shape the compassionate woman she would later become. As she grew older, Diana attended several schools across England. Although she wasn't considered the best student academically, she had many other talents. She loved music, dancing, swimming, and spending time outdoors. Ballet was one of her greatest passions, and she dreamed of becoming a professional dancer. Unfortunately, her height made that dream difficult to achieve. Even so, Diana never lost her positive attitude. She believed everyone should follow their passions and always try their best. One thing that truly made Diana different was her love for helping others. While many teenagers focused only on themselves, Diana enjoyed caring for children, supporting elderly people, and volunteering whenever she had the opportunity. After finishing school, she worked several ordinary jobs, including teaching young children and assisting at a kindergarten. These experiences brought her genuine happiness because she loved making people smile. At that time, no one could have imagined that this humble young woman would one day become one of the most famous people on earth. Her kindness, patience, and caring nature were already shining brightly long before she became a princess. These qualities would eventually make her admired not only in Britain, but across the entire world. Little did Diana know that destiny was preparing her for an extraordinary journey, one that would change her life forever and capture the hearts of millions. As Diana entered her late teenage years, her life appeared peaceful and ordinary. She continued working with young children, enjoyed spending time with friends, and preferred a simple lifestyle away from public attention. But destiny had something much bigger waiting for her. In 1977, Diana met Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and the future King of the United Kingdom. At that time, Diana was only 16 years old. Their first meeting was brief, and neither of them realized that history was quietly beginning to unfold. A few years later, their paths crossed again. This time, they spent more time together and began to know each other better. Charles admired Diana's gentle personality. Unlike many people around him, she was humble, caring, and never tried to impress others. She listened carefully, spoke politely, and treated everyone with respect, regardless of their social status. Diana, on the other hand, found Charles intelligent, confident, and dedicated to his royal responsibilities. Although they came from different worlds in many ways, They shared conversations that slowly brought them closer together. As their friendship grew, newspapers and television channels became increasingly interested in the young couple. Every public appearance attracted photographers, and soon Diana became one of the most talked about women in Britain. For someone who had always valued privacy, this sudden attention was overwhelming. Reporters followed her everywhere. Cameras waited outside her home and workplace, hoping to capture every smile and every step she took. Despite the growing media pressure, Diana remained calm and graceful. She continued living with kindness and humility, refusing to let fame change her personality. People quickly fell in love with her natural beauty and warm smile. But even more than that, they admired her genuine heart. After months of getting to know one another, Prince Charles decided it was time to take the next step. In February 1981, the royal family officially announced their engagement. The news spread around the world within hours. Millions of people celebrated the exciting announcement, believing they were about to witness a real-life fairy tale. During the engagement interview, Diana appeared shy but cheerful. She spoke softly and smiled with the innocence that had already captured the hearts of the public. Her sapphire and diamond engagement ring immediately became famous and remains one of the most recognizable royal jewelry pieces in history. From that moment forward, Diana's life changed forever. She was no longer simply Diana Spencer. She was preparing to become the future Princess of Wales. On July 29, 1981, the world stopped to watch one extraordinary event. Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer were married at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, in front of a global audience of hundreds of millions of viewers. People lined the streets for hours just to catch a glimpse of the royal couple. Flags waved through the air as crowds cheered with excitement. It was a celebration unlike anything most people had ever seen. Diana wore a breathtaking ivory wedding dress with a spectacular long train that became one of the most famous wedding gowns in history. As she stepped out of the royal carriage, the crowd erupted with applause. She looked elegant, confident, and radiant. Many people believed they were watching a modern fairy tale come to life. Her warm smile and graceful appearance instantly made her one of the most admired women in the world. But beyond the beautiful dress, the royal ceremony, and the worldwide celebration, Diana carried something far more valuable. She carried hope. She dreamed of building a loving family, supporting her husband, serving the British people, and using her new position to make a positive difference in the lives of others. No one knew what the future would bring. For now, the world celebrated a young woman whose kindness had already begun to shine brighter than any royal crown. The journey of Princess Diana had only just begun, and the chapters ahead would test her strength in ways she could never have imagined. After the royal wedding, Diana stepped into a completely new chapter of her life. As the Princess of Wales, she carried many responsibilities and was expected to represent the royal family at important events around the world. Although the public admired her glamorous lifestyle, Diana believed that her greatest role was not being a princess. It was becoming a mother. On June 21, 1982, she gave birth to her first son, Prince William. The entire nation celebrated the arrival of the future king, and Diana's happiness was impossible to hide. Holding William in her arms for the first time was one of the most emotional moments of her life. 2 years later, on September 15, 1984, Diana welcomed her second son, Prince Harry. Now her family felt complete. Despite living inside royal palaces, Diana wanted her children to experience life like ordinary kids. She believed they should understand the real world instead of growing up separated from it. She often took William and Harry to parks, amusement parks, fast food restaurants, hospitals, and homeless shelters. She wanted them to meet people from every background and learn that every human being deserves kindness and respect. Unlike many traditional royal parents, Diana personally hugged her children, played games with them, laughed with them, and openly expressed her love. The bond between Diana and her sons became one of the strongest parts of her life. While the world admired the royal family, life inside the palace was becoming increasingly difficult. The pressure of royal duties, endless public appearances, and constant attention from the media created challenges that few people could truly understand. Every decision Diana made was reported in newspapers. Every photograph became front-page news. Every smile, every expression, and every public appearance was carefully examined. Living under such constant attention was emotionally exhausting. At the same time, Diana and Prince Charles slowly began growing apart. Their personalities, interests, and expectations for the future were becoming increasingly different. The relationship that once looked like a fairy tale was now facing serious difficulties behind closed doors. Although Diana continued smiling in public, she often felt lonely and misunderstood. She later admitted that life inside the royal family was much harder than she had ever imagined. Yet even during her most difficult moments, she never stopped caring about other people. Instead of allowing sadness to control her life, Diana chose a different path. She focused her energy on helping those who needed support the most. She visited children's hospitals, spent time with seriously ill patients, comforted elderly people, and met families facing difficult circumstances. Unlike many public figures, Diana never rushed through these visits. She listened carefully. She held people's hands. She looked into their eyes and treated them with genuine compassion for those she met. These moments meant far more than a simple royal visit. They felt seen, respected, and valued. Her kindness was never forced. It came naturally from her heart. As her humanitarian work grew, people around the world began to see a different side of Princess Diana. She was no longer admired only for her beauty or elegant fashion. She was becoming a symbol of empathy, compassion, and hope. Millions of people started calling her the People's Princess because they believed she truly understood the struggles of ordinary people. Although her personal life remained filled with challenges, Diana discovered a powerful purpose. Helping others gave her strength. Serving humanity gave her hope. And this was only the beginning. In the years ahead, Princess Diana would become one of the most influential humanitarian figures of her generation, proving that real greatness is measured not by crowns or titles, but by the lives we touch with kindness. By the early 1990s, it had become clear that Princess Diana and Prince Charles were living very different lives. Although they continued to appear together at official events, their relationship was no longer the happy marriage that people had once admired. In 1992, the couple officially announced their separation. For millions of people around the world, the news came as a great surprise. The fairy tale they had celebrated years earlier was coming to an end. 4 years later, in 1996, their divorce was finalized. For Diana, this marked the end of one chapter, but it also became the beginning of another. Instead of allowing disappointment to define her future, she chose to rebuild her life with courage and determination. She focused less on royal traditions and more on helping people whose voices were often ignored. Rather than stepping away from public life, Diana stepped closer to humanity. After the divorce, Diana devoted much of her time to humanitarian work. She traveled across different countries, visited hospitals, met children suffering from serious illnesses, and spent countless hours speaking with families facing poverty and hardship. Everywhere she went, people noticed the same thing. She never acted as though she was above anyone else. She greeted people with warmth, listened carefully to their stories, and offered comfort with sincere compassion. Her ability to connect with ordinary people made her different from many public figures. She didn't simply attend charity events for photographs. She genuinely cared about the people she met. Many patients later said that a few minutes with Diana gave them hope during some of the hardest moments of their lives. Her kindness was simple, honest, and unforgettable. During the 1980s and 1990s, many people were afraid of those living with HIV/AIDS. False information and fear caused many patients to be isolated from society. Diana believed this fear needed to change. She visited hospitals where AIDS patients were receiving treatment. She sat beside them, held their hands, hugged them, and spoke with them just as she would with anyone else. At a time when many people believed that even touching an AIDS patient was dangerous, Diana's actions sent a powerful message to the world. She showed that compassion is stronger than fear. Her public visits helped reduce stigma and encouraged millions of people to view AIDS patients with understanding instead of discrimination. Those simple acts of kindness became some of the most memorable moments of her humanitarian work. One of Diana's most courageous moments came in 1997. She traveled to Angola, a country that had been devastated by years of war. Thousands of dangerous landmines remained hidden beneath the ground, putting innocent lives at risk every single day. Instead of simply speaking about the problem, Diana decided to witness it herself. Wearing protective equipment, she carefully walked through an active minefield under the guidance of experts. The images of Princess Diana walking through that dangerous area were seen across the world. Her visit immediately brought international attention to the landmine crisis. Governments, charities, and humanitarian organizations increased their efforts to remove landmines and protect civilians. Her courage proved that real leadership is not always shown from behind a podium. Sometimes, it is shown by standing beside those who need help the most. By this time, Diana had become much more than a member of the royal family. She had become a global symbol of kindness, courage, and compassion. Wherever she traveled, crowds gathered not simply to see a princess, but to meet someone who truly cared. People admired her honesty. They respected her courage. They trusted her because she was never afraid to show her emotions. Diana openly spoke about loneliness, personal struggles, and the importance of mental well-being at a time when such conversations were uncommon. Her honesty made her relatable. People realized that even someone admired by millions could experience pain, fear, and uncertainty. Yet she never allowed those challenges to stop her from helping others. Every difficult experience made her stronger. Every obstacle increased her determination to make the world a kinder place. Princess Diana reminded millions of people that true greatness is not measured by power, wealth, or titles. It is measured by compassion, humility, and the willingness to improve the lives of others. As 1997 continued, Diana was planning new humanitarian projects and looking forward to the future. No one could have imagined that the world was about to lose one of its brightest lights. The final chapter of her extraordinary journey was closer than anyone expected. August 31st, 1997, a night that changed the world forever. In Paris, France, a tragic car accident took away a woman who had touched the hearts of millions around the globe. Princess Diana, known worldwide as the People's Princess, passed away at the age of just 36. The news of her death shocked not only the United Kingdom, but the entire world. Millions of people mourned her loss. Streets were filled with flowers, and crowds gathered to say goodbye to a woman they felt deeply connected to. Her funeral became one of the most watched events in history. But it was not just the funeral of a royal figure. It was a tribute to a woman who had dedicated her life to helping others. After her death, the world remembered that Diana was more than just a member of the British royal family. She was a mother, a humanitarian, and a voice for people who were often ignored. Throughout her life, Diana used her influence to make a difference. She stood beside people living with HIV/AIDS at a time when fear and misunderstanding surrounded the illness. She visited war zones, supported charities, and worked for children, the homeless, and those in need. What made Diana different was not just what she did, but how she did it. She did not stand above people. She stood beside them. Her compassion, kindness, and ability to connect with ordinary people made her one of the most loved figures of her generation. Diana's greatest legacy is that she showed the world that fame and power can be used for something greater than personal success. They can be used to bring hope, awareness, and change. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have also continued parts of the mission their mother believed in. Prince William has focused on issues such as mental health awareness, homelessness, and protecting the environment. Through his work, he has continued the idea that helping others is one of the most important responsibilities of public service. Prince Harry has also carried forward his mother's values by supporting mental health initiatives, veterans, and social causes. He has often spoken about how Diana's love, courage, and compassion continue to inspire him. Even decades after her passing, Princess Diana remains one of the most admired and remembered women in modern history. Her photographs, her words, and her actions continue to inspire people around the world, because some people do not simply live their lives. They leave behind a legacy that continues to touch millions of hearts. Princess Diana's story teaches us that true greatness does not come from titles, wealth, or fame. It comes from kindness, courage, and the difference we make in the lives of others. She was a princess who won something far more valuable than a crown. She won the love of people, And that is why, even after all these years, the world still remembers her with respect, admiration, and love. Princess Diana may be gone, but her compassion, her kindness, and her legacy continue to live on. This was the story of a woman who showed the world that one caring heart can create a powerful impact on millions of lives. If you enjoyed this story, share it with others, because Princess Diana's journey is not just a story from the past. It is a timeless story of humanity, love, and hope.